The following Conscious Consumer Network recording of a live broadcast is available to purchase in high definition at ethymarket.com. Support free and independent media by becoming a CCN pledger. For €10 a month, you can have unlimited access to CCN high definition downloads at ethymarket.com. Ethymarket, the ethical marketplace for conscious consumers.
All right, folks, welcome to another fast ride at CCN. And no, it's not your mother's TV station, it's your daddy's. Anyways, folks, truth is spoken here. This is not the mainstream media feed. We actually talk about things of substance for the planet so we can get everybody's mind right. Anyways, with that being said, we're going to be taking a really fast ride today. The objective of today, because I always like to bring forward solutions of the planet, but first we have to know what the problem is. So we're going to probably enhance and belabor the problems that we're seeing in this shift, and then we're going to come forward and show solutions, or bring forward solutions that I know of that can bring us in alignment, because this is about realigning the energies, folks, getting our hearts right. Everybody's got to quit warring with each other on the damn planet. The problem is grandiosity usually takes over. Got a lot of alpha dogs out there, alpha female dogs. Folks, I don't want to be right. I just want to bring forward truth. It's not about, I'm not in charge of anything. That's not my job. My job is to align the best and the brightest on the planet. That's why I deal with mind, body, and spirit. Because if you're leaving any one of those integral pieces of the puzzle out, you are compromised. That's a really good word. Yeah, compromised. So I'm seeing, anyways, I'm bringing Brother Bradley. He's got a beautiful site. I posted his link out far and wide for the planet. When we complete this show, I'll be depositing it over to the CCN warehouse so everybody can get the links and informations. Because, folks, it's time to come together. And I see a lot of coming together, which is good. Matter of fact, I had to do a weekend seminar and had 30 bright spirits in the house, no conflict, nice energies. We brought forward 11 hours of some very, very vital information on the planet to show people their way back home. But you got to have eyes to see and ears to hear. And it's a very fast ride, and it takes a minute for people to get their alignments right. Anyways, Bradley, I've seen what you post on yours. This is Brother Bradley Love, and he does share the love on the planet, and he's bringing forward the energies and the truth. And folks, I guess the ones that are enlightened and really awake are the only ones getting it, because the ones that aren't quite there, they got to stand back, Bradley, and sort of figure out where they're going, because it is. And that's why I created Privatis.Me. It's actually, I got an 8-week construct over there that shows you how you got here at the beginning, how you go back home. But I always want to create the solutions, but I got to show you how, they don't understand how they got here and how they got compromised. And that's why, we deal with the food and the water and the energies and the chemtrails and the GMOs. I don't think there's too many stones I'm leaving unturned. I even did a show 2 weeks ago with Sister Laura on ETs, and that was one subject or one topic I haven't broached yet. And she did a stellar job of taking us on a nice star ride to bring forward truth, because I know, what was the name? William Cooper was bringing the information, and they disappeared him after he brought forward and sort of dropped names to this construct. He was ex-Navy. I was also ex-Navy, and nope, I was never MK Ultra. Anyways, it's exciting. These are exciting times. The shift is here, and anyways, let's, introduce yourself and how you've been sharing, how your light came on in your head.
Well, my light came on a long time ago, and it was mostly, can we say I started when I was about 9 years old? The first thing I ever did, and it was basically at the urging of my grandfather, was he said, you need to know what's going on in the world. And he pointed out the Bible, because I was born Catholic, right? So he pointed out the Bible. And he said, you really need to read that. Well, I was 9 years old, and I thought, well, whatever my grandpa says, it must be pretty cool. So I took the Bible, which was the huge version. I mean, the total unedited, it was like, that thick and that big. And I read the thing when I was 9, and I read it again when I was 13, and then I read it again when I was 17. Okay, so I read it 3 times straight through, and then by that time, I had a pretty good grasp of what the theology and the dogma of the Catholic religion was all about. And interestingly, I could start to pick out, all of the the foibles and the fallacies, the loopholes and the double standards, and in all of that information. And I started pointing it out to people. I said, well, you can't say this on the one hand and say that on the other. I mean, that's a direct, um, confrontation between two ideas. And the more I pointed things out, the worse, I was treated by those, in the authority structure. But that being said, then, by the time I was 20, I was off on my own and figured, okay, this is no good. I got to find something that's the real truth. And that's where I kind of started going down the rabbit hole, doing research and stuff like that. And, it's so, a guy could say it's been 45 years, of research. And not to say that I've learned everything I can possibly learn. I'm just beginning to really start to find out that we're in a whole nother realm of deep doo-doo than I originally thought, and the whole the buying and the selling of soul energy, and the owning of the slavery system that we're in, the debt slavery system that we're in, the fact that there are actually magicians running around that know how to manipulate reality. Are you kidding? That rabbit hole goes down to the center of the earth. So yeah, we're in a time where, I guess, looking for the truth and finding out the truth, you really need to have all hands on deck. And anybody who is out there right now and saying, yeah, well, don't worry, I've got it all down. Okay, well, have good luck with that. Really, good luck with that, because you really probably don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yes. There's I'm in all the portals. Excuse me. I'm in all the portals, but I don't know everything. I know a lot of people that know more than I do, and those are the people I want to bring to the house so they can share this information. Because this is information, energy disbursement. I don't claim to know it all, but I do know how to look at the whole horizon. I'm not just looking at the blades of grass out on the front lawn. And most people are compartmentalized in they might be good in one spot, but a lot of people, they don't see the big picture. They don't understand how the religious construct, the military-industrial complex, the medical-industrial complex, the big pharma, the FDA, the incestuous ties, and how this all ties in. And the religious construct is probably one of the biggest mind hacks on the damn planet. And you're talking, I did a little time in Catholicism Drive, I call it, 13 years of genuflecting and lighting votive candles. And I just said, something doesn't fit here. And so I started asking questions. Got effectively excommunicated at 13 years old because I said to the nun, because I was supposed to get confirmation, I said, I need a couple of questions asked or answered. And I said, so you're telling me this guy who puts his pants on the same way as I do, I had to climb in a box with him, I'm going to give over my consent so he can be my middleman to the creator? I said, that doesn't work for me. Sorry, but I'm reassessing, and I'll have to pass. And after that, I was excommunicated.
Yeah, well, you know what? There's probably a whole bunch of people. You're actually in a good club, Copernicus. That guy a long time ago was excommunicated. He dared to say, well, I really don't think the Earth is the center of the universe.
Right.
And then, of course, the Pope, knowing more, said, well, you're out. So that's been going on for quite a while. But no, there's a lot of stuff going on right now that we could talk about, and there's just, we're right on the edge. We're really right on the edge of kind of getting to the root of some of the biggest problems. And I kind of want to start where we were talking this morning.
Okay.
About it, because it's all about energetics. Okay, most people don't realize that there are multiple levels of what's going on this planet, multiple levels. And there are people who have, by the grace of God, I guess, or who are blessed, who are in secret societies, and they have esoteric knowledge that goes far beyond. I mean, this is unimaginably far beyond what we know or what we're ever taught. I don't care if you've got a PhD. I don't care if you've got 10 PhDs. You do not know what these guys know about manipulating and bending reality. Okay, and the wave structure and the frequency structure of what's going on out there, and the fact that everything's electric. We live in an electric universe, and how magnetism, electromagnetism, and electricity work together to help manifest things in this holographic universe. But you know, the energetic side is very, very interesting to me. And this morning I was talking about, if you see the status quo as kind of like right where we are, there's two ways to go. You can go up in frequency and you can go down in frequency. Okay. And going up in frequency is a spiral. It goes spirals up, and going down in frequency spirals down. And to go down in frequency, there's an engine. Okay. And there's three parts. And let's take the down in frequency first. There's three parts to the engine that drives frequency downward. And the first part is fear. Okay. Fear is the source or the beginning of the motor, so to speak. When people go into fear, whether, you know, that drives them into action. Okay. And the act can be either in thought, it can be in word, or it can be in deed. Okay. But fear always, each and every time, drives people to do one thing, and that is attack. They will attack someone outside of themselves. Okay. So you have fear, which ends up driving people to either attack someone verbally, or you can attack someone in your thoughts. Okay. And that happens all the time. Or you can attack someone physically. Okay. As in war. What do we see going on out there every place? Okay. That attack, okay, ends up having the third part of the engine, or the circle, and that ends up in separation. Okay, so we have separation occurring as a result of attack. Then there's like a rest period. Okay, but now the people who have attacked are separated from others and separated from source. They feel more fear. Okay, so now that they feel more intense fear, they have to again attack to defend themselves, which causes more separation. And you get this spiral downward. Fear, attack, separation, fear, attack, separation, fear, attack, separation. And then it just goes down. Now, the upper spiral is love. That's what starts the engine. Okay? You have love. Love has to have an act to drive the spiral upward. It can't just be love. It has to have an act. That act is helping other people. Okay, helping other people is the opposite of attack or attacking them. Okay, so you help them. You give them your loving service or anything that you can. And it's not for benefit or gain. A lot of people say, well, I'm helping someone if I'm cutting their hair. You're providing a service, yeah, but you're getting paid for it. Okay, this is something that needs to be from the heart, with the intention that I am providing you with a loving act of kindness. Okay, because what that does is it leads to unity. Okay, so love goes to helping someone else, leads to unity, and then you have love helping someone else, unity, love helping someone else, because and that creates a spiral going up. Okay, now let's talk about the new age, like we were doing this morning, and this idea. And I gotta tell you, you know, I'm not a theologian, you know, but karma, the way almost everyone is looking at it in the new age, it's nothing more than dogma. It's a part of the new age theology, you know, and it isn't what people think it is. Okay, and here's the problem: everybody. And this is really fed by the channelers, a lot of the channelers in the new age who are really driving this wedge, you know, between people who could actually really be doing a lot of good in helping the world. And there's not a whole lot of helping each other, because here's the thing. People say, well, if someone's having bad luck, or someone's down on their luck, or bad things are happening to them, or there's a war going on in their country, or anything is happening in their lives that isn't cool, well, that's their karma. And I don't want to interfere with their karma. So I'm not going to help. Now, listen, the engine that drives the frequency to rise is love, helping someone else, unity. Okay. So if you put a big roadblock between love and helping someone else, the engine stops, dead. It's done. Okay. So we're not going anywhere. We're not bringing the vibration. We're not bringing the frequency of the planet upward. Okay. And as I said this morning, you can see a whole lot of downward movement, in the frequency of the planet, i.e., manifestations of all kinds of horrible, horrible things going on. But we don't see a whole lot of manifestations of a healing world yet. Okay. Now, here again, you have tons of channelers who are, and I read a lot of this stuff because I'm going to read a lot. I want to know what they're saying. Okay. So it's not like I'm just making this up off the top of my head. I read 6 to 10 channelings every week, just as a sampling of what's going on. And they're always saying, oh, you guys are doing great. You're doing wonderful. The world is healing, And I'm like, wait a minute. Where do you see proof of that? Where's the manifestation of that? I spent 20 years as a carpenter, building homes. And every day you go to the job and you put in your effort, your act of, just putting in the concrete, then putting up the walls, building the walls, then the roof goes on. And every day you see progress. You see physical proof right in front of your third dimensional eyes that the house is being built and it's getting done. Okay. Well, where do we see the world coming together as one in unity, the war stopping, all of this good stuff happening? You just don't see it. And the reason you don't see it is because it's really not happening the way these entities, I'll just call them entities, that are coming in through channelers are saying is happening. In my humble opinion, take that for what it's worth. But you have to be able to see the physical proof. Okay. In other words, none of us are blind. And if a person believes, every word that comes from a channeled entity, okay, not the channel themselves, but the channeled entity, then what you're doing is you're basically making that channeled entity your God. Okay. You have stopped thinking for yourself and you are now beholden and hanging on every word that the entity says. In other words, and there's a school of thought that says you need to go within and you need to become your own source of information. You need to really know who you are, and you really need to uncover your own connection to source, your own connection to the truth, your own connection to God. How can you do that if you're hanging on every word that some channeled astral entity is saying? Okay, you can't. In other words, you've now taken away your own truth. Okay, and you've put all your eggs in someone else's basket. In other words, you've pushed the truth outside of yourself. The truth is not inside of me, it's outside. So if I don't read X channel 3 times a week, or once every week or once every month, I'm getting withdrawal symptoms because, oh my God, I don't know what to do. Please tell me, someone, what do I do? Okay, that's dangerous, in my opinion. And we need to realize, okay, that there's a lot of entities on the astral realm that can communicate through these channels and say, God knows what, and all kinds of things that sound good, that would sound good. But that doesn't mean it's true, okay? And I did the channeling thing big time when in the middle 80s, middle 1980s, when I was about 23, 24. This is before the internet. I mean, we didn't have the internet. And there was a lot of people that were kind of like into the new age, as far as I was concerned, and they would like they were channelers. They would channel right at home. They would channel for like local neighbors, you know. And I used to go to maybe 5 or 8 different ones, you know, for about 10 years. And in all those 10 years of my experience, it was like a 50-50 shot. Half the time the channels were right and what they said happened, and half the time everything they said didn't happen. I mean, it was like just rolling the dice, literally. Okay. And I seriously did that thing for until about 1995. So about 10 years of going from place to place. It was my form of spirituality and my form of gathering with people. But in the end, I realized something. I said, these guys don't know what the hell they're talking about, especially when it got really serious. And they start, oh, yes, this is really going to happen. This is really going to happen. You know, and here's the thing, you know, you got some of these people now, they don't even go over to other people's houses. They can't even look the channel in the face, the person that's doing this. They just read a channeled message online and they go, oh, this guy must know, or this lady must really know. And they don't, you know. So what the channelers have been putting out in huge articles and amount over many years is that don't worry, you guys, you don't need to worry about other people. Okay, it's not about other people. Just lift yourself up, pay attention to you alone, meditate, raise your frequency, raise your vibration. That's all you need to worry about. Let the world sit. Well, look where we're at. Okay, how's that working for us, you know, as a planet? You know,
I call that apathy. And you know what? When you were mentioning source, it's ironic. In the military, they like to outsource shit. See, when they outsource it, you don't have to pay attention to anything. See, I'm responsible for being source. I'm responsible to bring up the vibration and share. Like I was telling you how I post music because I understand vibration and pitch. I understand energies. You know, it doesn't cost anything to share a little love across the planet, and I do it all the time. I tune people up, like you know, little Todd Rundgren, "Love Is the Answer," or I'll get something from Yes or something from Jefferson Starship. So I like to take these little rides, and I get to take them on the same rides, and I'm sharing a piece of me when I share it to them, directly bring them in a line with where I'm coming from my heart. 'Cause if they listen to the song, I'm getting this special vibration, and there's a reason to why I'm sharing it. But I do it for the love. I don't do it for any other reason because I'm just trying to share the heart. And brother, I get so many responses back. I mean, there's these emoticons you can stick in the PM boxes, you know, and I know I have probably every emoticon on the planet. I got some really fun ones, very interesting ones. I got the little piggy, and he throws his heart out there and it shows a nice big heart. I'm trying to get the vibration of the planet up. So, you know what, all this apathy and waiting on somebody else to do, and you know, see, this is what I'm saying. You have to take action. If your intent is not backed by an action, you're not doing shit, and you can't fucking think your way out of it. You can't just sit in a room and do mental masturbation and go and you know, as long, you know, when I see somebody in pain or somebody's hurting, it's the first thing I do, brother. I step on in and I see if I can share some heart and help them get some alignment, because that is my responsibility. Because if I see it, feel it, touch it, you know what? You have to do something. You know, most people won't do shit because then it gives them plausible deniability. So, but they've outsourced their energy to somebody else, and I don't outsource my energy to friggin' nobody.
well, no, you hit the nail right on the head. But the people that don't do this, it's not that they can't, or even that they really don't want to. It's a little more insidious than that. They're basically, again, putting their trust, like they used to put their trust into the Catholic Church or whatever religion they used to belong to. Now they're putting their trust in channeled entities. Okay, that was the next step. That's the next psyop. That's the next thing that's happening to keep people from taking action that they probably deep in their heart want to take. You know, except that they're being instructed, well, you really don't have to do that because that's not necessary. And here, of course, is the coup de grace, really, of the stand down. Okay, you know, I've sorted through so many different psyops that are, in my mind, just, you know, huge, um, over the last 5 to 10 years. But each one has one common thread. Okay, it's don't worry, everything is happening imminently. Okay, we're months away, or a month away from leaving the planet and ascending, or we're a month away from ships picking us up. Okay, or we're a month away from getting a new financial system, or we're a month away from mass arrests. Okay, each time, all the people that would do something go, oh, okay, we're a month away. But see, the thing, what they haven't connected in the dots yet is, as time goes around and around and around, a whole new we're a month away comes, you know, and everybody forgets the last one. Okay, and then sit on your hands again. Don't worry. Yeah, don't worry, nothing needs to be done. Meanwhile, while this is going on, and I call it the magician's distraction, you know, because great magicians always use distraction. You know, it's the look over here, don't look over there kind of thing. Pay attention to everything we're putting on, you know, all these psyops and stuff like that. Meanwhile, we're getting closer and closer to martial law. Okay, we're getting more and more of our rights and freedoms taken away. More draconian laws are being passed. More people are being put out of work. A friend of mine just sent me, I was mentioning the fact that I think 6 Walmarts were just closed. I mean, in fact, some of the busiest ones in the country were shut down. One in Texas was one of the top 10 in the country. I mean, they were not, it's not like they weren't making money. They just, okay, close this store. But he sent me an article that said 60,000, I think. It's either 6,000 or 60,000. I think it was 60,000 businesses across the United States are scheduled for closing this year. Okay, something's going to go down. Okay, you know, in other words, they're getting ready, you know, for whatever it is. Okay, and we need to kind of put our head level with what's going on and start looking out there, what's going on. Quit listening to what other people are telling us. Okay, quit listening to, especially quit, you know, when you really want to know, okay, what do I need to do? Don't run to your favorite channel, you know, or channeled entity who doesn't even live on Earth and go, what do I need to do? You know, because you're disregarding your own being, your own living being, you know. And what you need to do is you need to come together. You need to start helping other people. You need to come together in unity. Love helping other people, unity. Love helping other people, unity. Just like you said, you start sending out these little emoticons, and you start sending out a nice word, a smile. You start really just giving from your heart, and then the engine of the raising the frequency, raising the vibration. Okay, and that's the counterbalance to the fear, attack, separation engine that drives the frequency down. We're in a frequency war. Okay, that's what we're in right now, and we need, I guess what we need is, you know, we've got, like, let's say we're playing a sporting game here, and there's like 12-man teams. Well, the Cabal has all 12 men on the field, and you know, the light people have like one guy on the field, you know, trying to, like, you know, bring in the light, doing all the right things in the right order to counterbalance the dark. And you got 11 other players that haven't even engaged yet, because they're being told, well, don't worry, you're going to be lifted off the planet, or, you know, the ETs are coming, or the extra dimensionals are coming, or they're going to come, who knows, we're going to be pulled through the sun. There's that one going up to the fourth dimension, in that one. It's crazy, all the different things that people are saying.
Yeah, well,
it's going to happen imminently.
Right. Let's take a look at. See, I get all your analogies. They're all correct. Look at the patriot groups. You know, some step in. They're waiting on. Everybody's waiting for somebody else to do the heavy lifting on their behalf. The problem is, we're all supposed to come together. If you don't get off your damn ass and get yourself out of that apathetic state, because You know, nothing happens until somebody puts some energy into the game. And if they're putting your mind back to sleep, it's just like, you know, well, look at the Jesus fish. Look at the church construct. They go there to make me feel good, and I've done my part. No, you haven't done shit. You gave over your consent to a foreign construct that has you binded up to do absolutely nothing to get off your ass. You have to take an action, people. Love requires an action behind it. You can't just be like my piece of orgonite here and do nothing. Yeah, but my orgonite actually does something. But yeah, so it actually does something. So it's giving me the love. Anyways, it's vibration. But
because love in action is a very powerful vibration. I mean, ultimately, yeah, they say, well, if you just sound is an organizer, it reorganizes. So if you meditate and you chant, it reorganizes your own cellular structure, which can raise your vibration. But ultimately, if you take that love inside of your heart and you put it into action, that's tenfold, that's 100-fold better than what you've done. And
right.
we need to think about, you know, where there's a saying, most bang for your buck. Okay. You know, are you really making a dent with your ohms, or do you want to make a bigger dent, you know, in this frequency raising and raise up the whole entire planet faster?
Yeah.
And ultimately it's all going to happen with all of us or none of us. It's this idea that one guy or two guys is going to get away while the rest of us, you know, are going to like hang out, you know.
Well, it's sort of like what I do over at Privatis.Me. I said, it's going to require you to get your ass over your own bridge, and you got to carry your own water buckets. I can't carry them for you. And if you're not willing to dig in, then guess what? You're going to go back to sleep, and then you're going to become a speed bump in life. Some other trauma is going to be, you know, pain's a great motivator. And I've been saying this for 3 years. I says, they haven't suffered enough pain. When the shit hits the fan and they're in a state of crisis mode, then they're in a state of fear, conflict, and everything else. It's a lot harder to get yourself centered so that you can create for yourself to be focused. Because if your energies are all mind hacked because of your energies, if you're operating from a position of anger, fear, any of those other constructs, you're not in the love vibration, and you're not going to get the hell out. So, but everybody waits, and they create their own emergencies because they sat on their asses to the end. So I always say, folks, freedom with responsibility starts with you. It is not my job, but I'm going to show you direction. I'm going to show you information, but you have to internalize it. You have to read it. You have to get it. I can't come to your house and do bedtime for Bonzo, read the damn bedtime story for you.
Right. Well, let me just rephrase what we're talking about here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And put it in a more succinct, I think, and generous way. There are these people, there's a lot of people who have and are waking up. Tremendous amount. And they have a tremendous amount of love in their heart. They really do. But what it is their energy is being misdirected, okay? And it's being misdirected through very clever, let's say, counterintelligence, very clever misdirection, which is what, of course, magicians do. They misdirect. So it's not that people don't necessarily want to, okay? They just don't have the whole story, okay? They don't have the entire picture yet. Okay, they think they do. They think they've kind of got it licked. Okay, all I've got to do is sit here and do this oming stuff. And you know, I've been told by X channel here and these spiritual people here that that's what I got to do. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, and there's a little bit more. Okay, there's just a little bit more to this operation, and that's what you and I are kind of bringing to the table right now. The idea. Okay. It goes, like I said, it goes really deep, and we can talk about energetics, and we can talk about esoterics, but these guys who have this ancient esoteric knowledge that came from the mystery school, you know, they're, you know, compared to what we understand and know, I mean, like, we're in the first grade. They're PhD level at manipulating energy, manipulating thought forms, manipulating time and space, bending time and space, bending reality, you know, And most of their magic lately has gone into mind control. Okay. Now, in most people's defense, they have no clue at the level of mind control that's being perpetrated upon the population right now. And in addition to that, I hold the theory that once mind control is being used on the scale and on the level that it's being used, free will is now gone. Okay, on a massive level. Okay, the idea that people need to wake up and people just aren't getting because they don't want to get it really isn't accurate anymore. Okay, because of the GMOs, because of the fluoride in the water, because of the frequencies and the mind control, because of the chemtrails and the nanites and the vaccines and stuff like that, you know, they're lucky they can walk around. Okay, and at this point in time, people would argue with me. I maintain that karma is moot. Okay, because in order for there to be balance and in order for someone to say, oh, you committed a bad act, okay, and therefore you have now earned karma for that, you have to be fully in control of your mind. You have to be of sound mind and of sound body, have been presented with a choice. Okay. Now, the dark people, the people of the dark, and this gets into the law of the one, okay, which we talked about a little bit earlier. They have, if there is such a thing as the law of the one, they have the right to lie, they have the right to intimidate, they have the right to deceive, they have the right to misdirect. They don't have the right to mind control. Once they've gone down that road, that basically makes the gameplay moot. Okay, and we're not playing a game anymore. Okay, what we're doing is we've stopped the game and now we have just massive criminal cheating. It would be kind of like, let's say you know, Prime Creator set up a game where there was going to be a light and a dark side and each one had rules that they were supposed to follow, kind of like a game of basketball. You got 5 kids out on the floor on one team and 5 kids out on the floor on the other team. Well, let's say one team is still playing the game according to the rules and the other team just starts beating the crap out of the one team that was playing by the rules. They're just using fists. Okay, there's no game going on anymore. There's just a whole lot of war and breaking the rules. And that's kind of what's happened here. So a lot of people are telling me, well, you know, karma, you know, it's all about karma and getting rid of karma and, you know, dissolving your karma. I'm saying once they started genetically modifying the food, which affects your frequency and your vibration and your mind, once they started vaccinating everybody on a massive scale where you can't even get out of it, once they started chemtrailing and of course the mind control, which is everywhere, the frequencies, the WEN towers, the cell phone towers, subliminals on your television, that basically put the game on a level where there is no game anymore. So that's where I'm coming from, and hard for people to get a clue. If you know what I mean, I'm being general, but it's going to come forward and say, well, look, helping someone frequency moving again, okay, just sitting in a room, and because half the time you don't even know what kind of frequencies are being beamed at you anymore. If I may be so bold to say.
Yeah. Well, I guess we're gonna have to. Well, you know, you're right. They've interspersed where, yeah, you're right. I mean, I talk about free will. I created the radio show called Free Will. But it's no, you're right. They no longer have free will if they've been mind hacked, mind controlled, and they have been. That's why I say 90% will never get it. They'll never get to the next level. But yeah, I don't put my power into karma shit. You know what? All I do is bring forth the energy, the heart, and I'll let the chips fall where they may, because I'm taking an act. As long as I keep taking these, as long as I keep doing the intent with the act behind it, brother, I got some beautiful shit going on over here. I got Sister Laura coming up. I've been wanting to do the cannabis paste for a while now. Yeah, it's like magic. 50 pounds I've got to start with. I got somebody who's going to help me make the medicine, because they were looking for something to do so they can live life on purpose. I call that sharing the love. And I got to go down to Denver, and I got to align with my source, who's going to create, because I know he doesn't compromise and do the GMO thing. The ball's in play. I mean, it's a done deal. I'm just merely taking in, when I get the thought, I put it into action. Okay, I need to do this. I'm going to call this one. And then all of a sudden somebody else lines up and they tie in. They got some energies. I mean, it's beautiful. In my planet, it's beautiful. Where I'm coming from, brother, because I'm not sitting back on my ass. I'm moving this train on a whole different level, but it requires me to actually do something.
Yeah, well, that's the way things get manifested in the third dimensional world. But, like I said, being introspective or retrospective about what's going on, a lot of these people, they have very good desires, okay, and good intention. But like I said, they're reading, these blogs that tell them, well, don't worry, because mass arrests are going to happen in 2 months. And, we're going to have a whole new government and financial system 2 months from now. Well, 2 months go by. Well, it's another 2 months. Okay. 2 months go by. Well, then 2 years go by. Well, don't worry. It's just around the corner. We're having a little bit of time, but it's a tough deal. Okay. Well, then you've got we're going to be picked up in 2 months. We're going to have ships coming in 2 months. And then we're going to be flying through the sun to another realm in 2 months. That kind of thing, which it's actually very clever. I mean, that is, it's, you have to kind of look at it and go, wow, these guys really know what they're doing when they're doing their psyops.
I call it
perfect way to.
I call it bait and switch for the brain, so they don't have to do nothing. Nasara, brother, I'm aware of all the stuff, but I've never sat on my ass and done nothing, because you know what? My spirit keeps telling me I'm required to do something, and I'm trying to get everybody else to do something with me, and that's what's going to multiply the vibration, the energy, the resonance, and the love. But it requires us not to sit on our ass and waiting for somebody else, and that's I call it the mental bait and switch, for the masses to have permission to sit on their ass and do absolutely nothing. Well, you know what? Yeah, it's going to be the same old shit for those folks. Brother, I'm leaving the plantation. I'm in creation mode. I've aligned with the best and the brightest on the planet who have the answers to remove presumptions, to prove up to leave this plantation, because everything requires consent. And for them, I know they did use trickery. I mean, the whole thing's been a trick since the beginning, since Mama gave us over at birth. But because they never told her that she was giving you and depositing into the state, but because nobody else showed up, it was considered abandoned property. So I know how to take care of that and take care of my business, and I've aligned with that's what this weekend was all about. I have the answers, but I have to take an action to apply the answers. I'm not waiting for somebody else to do it for me. I'm just aligning and seeing that, okay, I consented on this, this, and this. I can fix that. You can always fix a mistake, and then there's no ambiguity or doubt that I removed the presumption that I have consented or given over without going to war. I stay in the love vibration.
Mm-hmm. Well, or you could have all the information in your hands of what you need to do. You could doubt yourself, and then you could run to the nearest channel and say, what do you think I should do? And get some entity telling you what you need to do to progress. And that entity might say, well, don't worry, you don't need to do anything. A couple months from now, it'll all be over. And then you would sit on your hands waiting. Meanwhile, nothing is happening. Okay. And 2 months from now, you'd be in the same thing. Or you could listen to your own inner source, your own self. You could come from your own courage and your own inner being, and you could determine to take action and the energy into your own hands and create, because that's what we are creators. And here's the other thing. Reality isn't a permanent static thing. Reality is collectively created. we are living on a planet that is a collectively created uh, compound of all of our thoughts, all of our deeds, all of our understandings, all of our beliefs. Okay. And we work together. We create reality together. 200 years ago, most people were still riding horses and doing things, living on farms and stuff like that. That was reality. Well, reality today, I don't think people are going to argue that reality is quite a bit different. Okay. So right there, you can see, and that's the kind of reality I'm talking about. Reality is, the reality of the moment where we all together are at. Now, here's the funny thing. We got secret space programs. According to some insiders, there's many actually secret space programs. Some run by the government, some run by the cabal, and then some run even by corporations. Outside of any government supervision whatsoever. Interplanetary ships, interstellar ships, intergalactic ships, and yet most people, that's not part of their reality. Okay, if you ask them what's the reality, they would say, well, we're all alone. We're alone in the universe. We're on this planet. That's all there is. That's reality to them. Now, is that truth? No. Okay, that's what, when I say we're in a collectively created reality, I'm not saying we're in a collectively created truth. It's just reality. And reality doesn't mean it can be a lie, or it can be fiction. It can be. Most people are still living in fiction. As far as what they understand, and their reality is based upon belief. Now, here's the interesting thing, where this gets into the deep magic and esoterics. These people of the cabal, you call them the Illuminati, the magicians, they understand that reality is collectively created, which is why they own the media. They found that they had to own it. And they disseminate information only to the masses of what they want the people to know or believe or to think. Okay? That way, the reality, or the general consensus reality that we're all living under, the agreement we're all living under, is kind of directed and steered by them. Okay, so we are living in a fake. Okay, I call it a fake reality. Okay, right now, it's not the truth. It's just a fake reality, and it's a created reality. But and here's where it comes back to consent. It's created by all of us because we're all consenting to it. Peter, I have a lot of respect for you and for people who have really gone down the rabbit hole as far as the slavery system is concerned, and the courts, and understanding the birth certificate, the bond issue, and where that all comes from. Because once you understand that basically they're claiming to own everybody that lives on the planet as a slave, and not only that, but they're buying and selling. They're buying and selling not only physical people, but they're buying and selling soul energy. If that sounds ridiculous, it's a slavery system. Now, you have two choices. You can either go down the rabbit hole, find out everything you need to know, and then take action and stop. And my action is just simply to say, I stop supporting the slavery system. Because if I don't stop supporting it, then tacitly I support it. Okay. And if I continue to say, well, it really doesn't matter. Oh, here's a good one. It really doesn't matter because 2 months the ships are going to come and pick me up. I won't be here. Okay. So I don't have to do anything. Well, I'm still consenting to the slavery system, and I haven't done anything about it. Okay. Because if enough of us get together and help each other, and then come in unity, okay, not in fear. Remember, fear is the downward spiral, but come together in love and hold each other's hand and just agree that we are not going to support the slavery system any longer, it will end. We can end it. Okay, but we have to be willing to do something.
Yeah, well, I've been saying for 3 years, doing blog talk, if you do absolutely nothing, you've got to start somewhere. And so I created this portal, an 8-week construct on, brother. I mean, it's the bomb. I mean, it will take them down to reality lane, but you first got to be to know that there's something wrong and take an action to come and do that part. But I gave that information away for free because it's very easy to follow. By the time I get to the 4th week, I'm covering the GMOs, the chemtrails, and then I'm saying now redirect your energies into positive portals so you can get your education, change your energies, get your mind, get your body, get your spirit. Brother, I have everything's done in threes. It's black magic. Well, I brought my own fucking magic. Okay, it's called the free tours over at Privatis.Me, and there's 3 of them. I didn't even know why I was doing 3, but I knew I had to do 3. The first one was on the medical stuff. I showed link by link, like in a PowerPoint presentation, where everything in the house is, and this is downloadable free information on the alternatives like food grade hydrogen peroxide, magnesium chloride, the Celtic salt, how it removes all the aluminum out of your brain. So I said I have to start with the body first. So I knew to go there, and I created that, and that's free. I give it away to the planet for free in love, okay? And then I have an 8-week construct. It's called the Accelerated Truth Tour. It's a link at the top. Once they join, they get to join for free. I did this with love in my heart so that they could get understanding how we got here. Because until you go through those portals, you're subsidizing your own damn demise, and you won't be able to change your mind to actually be self-sufficient and stand in your own light, your own source energy, and go back home again, I say.
Well, yeah, because ultimately we really have got to start coming together. And the idea that, each one of us is responsible, kind of like for our own butt, and all I got to do is raise my own vibration and I might ascend, but you won't, but that's just me. I'm going to take care of me. Wow, that's really a divide. That's a dividing thought form, and it really is. All it is a thought form. Okay. We are social beings. We are loving beings. We depend on one another. No one's an island. No one can do anything all by themselves, and to think that, all of our problems are going to get solved by outside forces, here's the thing. It's our planet. We live here. Why would outside forces want to come in and fix everything for us? Okay. Especially if we're still consenting to it tacitly, and the idea, of course, this brings in, well, what are you spending your time on? We've got to quit spending time on distractions, because this is another thing that the Illuminati, the magicians, are really good at. They're distraction. Every distraction, every television show is a program. Every sporting event is a program. Every new product out there is a distraction. It's distraction, distraction, distraction. They want us distracted. We've got lots of fun, lots of games, video games to be distracted with. And don't worry about what we're doing. Don't look at the man behind the curtain. Just watch the smoke and mirrors. And I keep going back to the Wizard of Oz. I think I've written about the Wizard of Oz in a lot of my articles over and over and over again. And I say, look, you get the Tin Man and you get Dorothy and the Scarecrow and the Cowardly Lion all walking in, and they're looking at an altar with a big head, but it's all smoke and mirrors. And the big head is nothing more than an illusion. Okay. There's a man behind that curtain. He's pulling all the knobs, but they don't see him. They're fearing the head, and they tremble, and whatever the head says, they do, right? And then all of a sudden, a little dog, which is really kind of like a jab at human beings, because we're too stupid to figure it out. A dog had to. Okay. He goes and pulls back the curtain. He says, hey, look, there's a guy back there. He's pulling the levers. And then the wizard goes, hey, don't look at the man behind the curtain. Pay no attention, keep looking at the altar. Puff, smoke, flames. And that's kind of like where human beings are at right now, is we're looking at, we're distracted. We're looking at the big head of smoke, and we're not looking at the man behind the curtain, and we're not trying to figure out what he's trying to do. It's all a magic trick, and it's trying to get us to collectively create a reality they want, which is a very low vibration, very low frequency reality that is, you know, dog eat dog, man eat man, and has to do more with robotics and transhumanism, a hierarchy, very big into hierarchy, slaves and serfs. You know, you're going to have kings and queens and elite that rule on high, and you're going to have a whole lot of slaves that are microchipped that basically do their bidding. Okay. And you're going to have genetic, or not genetic, but you're going to have genetic enhancements. You're going to have machine or technology enhancements to make you live longer, but that's only if you're an elite. And we're going to have space travel, but for the elite. Okay. And ultimately, you know, they're going to have people so mind controlled and so microchipped and so dumbed down that you're not going to be much more than a robot. And, you know, I wonder who in the world is going to come and save you then, you know, if we let it get that point.
And that, yeah, I says, people are like structured I call them automatons. And yet what people don't realize is accepting this chip. See, remember, it's all vibration. Let's say I get the energies. They stick a chip in your ass. They can shoot that little Wi-Fi at it and change up the parameters of how you operate just with some Wi-Fi. I mean, that's one of the primary points of bringing in the chip. So I know there's other technologies and other shit out there. You know, I don't sweat the small stuff, brother, because I'm not in that realm. I don't live there. There is no mind hack for Brother Peter. I get to go. I'm doing what I get to do. I get to live life on purpose. This is what I've been talking about for 3 years. What would you do, folks, if you quit giving over your power, subsidizing your own demise, and you could go live your life on purpose? What would you do if you could live your life on purpose? I want them to ask themselves that question. See, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm living my life on purpose because I got out of that friggin' how do you put the hologram 3 years ago.
But Peter, guess what? The first step of living your life on purpose is you can't be afraid to do that. Okay?
Right.
Remember, fear, any kind of fear, is the first step on the downward spiral. Fear, the next step is attack. You can self-attack. You know, I'm so dumb, I'm so stupid, you could say, or I can't do it. That's self-attack. Okay, if you're not directing your attack outwardly, you're directing your attack inwardly, but it's still attack. You're allowing your mind, because the fearful mind always attacks. That's all it can do. There's no other act that a fearful mind can commit when you're in fear, except some kind of attack. Then, after the attack, you get separation, because you're already on the downward spiral. To live your life on purpose, you have to first face your fear, you know, no fear, and you have to move forward in love. And then the next thing you do is help someone else. Love, help someone else. Okay. If you're not doing that, you're not on the upward spiral. Okay. And then there's so many new agers. There's so many people that okay, I can love. I've faced my fear and I'm going to love. They stop there. They don't go to the next step, because if we're not helping someone else, then we're not getting to the unity part. Okay. And we're not going up to the next spiral upward. So it's a toughie, because there's a lot of people who are scared. They're scared to make a change, but that's fear. Okay. So yeah. Okay. Face your fear, you know, make that, and you can't do that for them, and I can't do that for them either. You know, and you can give them all the knowledge their brain can hold. Okay. But they got to, it's like a kid who's never swam before. You know, he can put his toe in the water all he wants, but you got to overcome that fear of the water.
Yep.
Or you're never going to swim.
Yeah. I got to do a lot of swimming as a kid. You know, it was the senior life saving by the time I was 12. So I swim really good without the floaties on. I never had fear of the water. My daughters, same way. We started them very young. We ran in the pool. They couldn't even walk, and they were in the pool. Everybody in the pool. Anyways, they swim well too. So, you know, it's baby steps, but you got to be willing to take the steps, and you can't sit back and not do anything. Like I say, the love part requires an action, and it's so simple to do. Every day I get to go change. Like I said, I get to make somebody's heart smile, and it doesn't cost me anything. And you know what? It makes me feel so much better. And the more I give, Yeah, there you go. But folks, this is really simple. The more you give with an action, the more you get back. Isn't it amazing how that works? The law of reciprocity, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's absolutely true. And here's something. Let's say you haven't got an action plan yet, and I've said this before too. Okay, you don't need an here. Just what if you said that every person you interacted with, no matter where it was, if you went to the coffee shop and get a cup of coffee, you looked at the person, you looked at their name tag, hi, how's your day going? And really mean it and want to know what's happened to you today. And why? I care. I want to know what's your life like. Then you go to the grocery store and you're in the checkout line and you talk to that person that way and you say, hi, how's your day going? Well, okay, it's going okay. Well, I really hope you have a great day. You give them a smile, you show them your heart, you show them that you'll care about them. I mean, it's a little sappy to say you love them, but you show them that you care about them. You're concerned, that you want to know that their day is going well. And that's every person you interact with. You know what? That's magic. I mean, that's a supernatural act. It's going into the unseen realms, and it's creating a frequency push toward unity. Because again, you're starting somewhere and you're doing an act, and then it doesn't cost anything. Again, if everything you're doing for the new age, someone has to pay you for, I don't think you're in the new age. There's some guys right now out there claiming to be like totally new age. And I'm not going to give the guy's name, okay, but he's out there, and he's claiming to be a big shot in the new age. And he claimed to have a lot of information, which he does in his shows and stuff like that. And he's got a blog and talks a lot. And he also claims to be a healer. Okay, well, so check this out. I said, well, I think maybe I'd want to get a healing. And there's a number on his blog. So I called it up and I said, what would it take to get like an hour of your time? Take a wild guess as to what this guy is charging for 1 hour.
Probably about $500.
Try double that.
Wow. Well, he sold his soul, didn't he? What a worthless piece of shit he is. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm not gonna give the guy's name, but seriously, $1,000 an hour for healing.
Anybody that's selling their time the way that they're doing, because see, it's donations over at Privatis.Me for those that want to step in if they're ready to go to the next level after they've gone through the free 8-week curriculum and they're awake enough to come over to classes on Thursday night. Yes, they can make a donate because it is an exchange of energy. So, but I made it so plausibly I don't even want to do the damn deal, But like I say, I'm still getting over my bridge. So we got to share energies. And in life, nothing in life is free, brother. I probably spent tens of thousands of dollars on my education and got misdirected, bumped my head, all bullshit. This remedy shit with the what the hell is it? I read the 600-page book. I bought it like 15 years ago. Yeah, it doesn't work either. See, because I didn't know who I was yet, and I was looking in the wrong portal, but it was a portal I needed to go to get my direction, to get where I am, to get my grounding point today. So I went through a lot of head bumping, but so for I see these sites, come get a quick healing, and they gotta live too. But there's ones that could do it for 10 times more, and I think they're doing some good work. And they, but they say $25 donation or whatever. See, that's reasonable, but it's not about the amount. It's about the intent, and it's about the energy. See, so this guy is nothing but a freaking shake shifter. See, that's what I call them, shake shifters. I don't deal with shake shifters. See, brother, let me tell you something. You got a cancer issue, you can come over to me. You can call me. I'm going to give you my phone number, and I'm going to share with you modalities. If you have the eyes to see and the ears to hear, I'm going to give you solutions. But you got to take the action. But I'm going to bring my love, and I'm going to show you. Don't believe a damn thing I say, but if it does, if it vibrates with you or resonates with you, because I'm not going to blow smoke up your ass, and I'm not going to sell you bullshit. And matter of fact, I'm not selling anything. That's the point. But I want to give you my heart because I love you enough. I had a lady poke me today on a cancer issue. I gave her my phone number right in her little PM box. Give me a call, and I'm going to, because the CBDs have been compromised. They're poison. Matter of fact, I know somebody. I was talking to Laura today. I get excited. I just got to share this about intent and putting our energies behind shit. Anyways, this lady. Laura had already set her up. Her son has major seizures all the time. Well, Laura knows how to make the oil. She, like I say, an alchemist, and she knows how to do things. Well, this lady decided to go a cheaper, softer path, and just yesterday, yeah, she put her son on the shitty shit. And I'm gonna save herself a couple dollars. Yeah, she saved herself a couple dollars, and that kid had 300 seizures. Now it's an emergency.
Wow.
She calls Laura up, and Laura's up in Montana, and she's coming down to Denver to deliver friggin' oil. Now that's called love. But see, everybody wants to cut corners, and then they forget. But yeah, you know, the irony is they'll go to the medical establishment, most of these people, and they'll pay to get themselves poisoned and never even resolve their issue. Matter of fact, they're getting worse off and worse off. But when I show the love, do you think anybody offers up to share some love back? People, what can I do to help you? I don't want your fucking money, but I do want some love. And you're going to show love by an action. If you don't give me no action, because I'll put my heart out there, I'll show. I will take my time, my valuable time. When somebody shares stuff like that with me, I open that door for that lady. I guess I said, I don't bite, but I'm going to share some information with you because I understand this shit that's going on with the CBDs being compromised. And by the way, folks, pay attention. Yeah, you got to use the whole plant. CBDs, THC, and the terpenes are needed, which is all the constructs in the plant. It's like cutting off one of your arms, or it's like creating. It's like taking half of a banana and putting poison in one half, but anyways, you get my analogy. It's like,
oh no, I totally get it. You're absolutely right. Yeah, if you but it's that way with wheat too. I mean, once you start dividing the wheat into the bran and the germ and the multi-enriched flour, the bread you eat isn't worth anything either.
no.
I mean, I don't care what kind of plant you're dividing up. It's simple mathematics. You got a plant, you eat the whole thing. You get the bran, the fiber. So,
right, as long as it's not been grown by Monsanto with their genetically modified shit. And by the way, for all you folks who don't understand, if you're buying your shit from Walmart and endocrine disrupting, they put endocrine disruptors in all the canned goods, which compromise the body, of course. And they're now spraying with Agent Orange because the shit's got so strong on the GMOs that they needed a better poison. They're using the default they used in Vietnam on the plant. So if you're eating from Walmart, if you're buying your food products, yeah. Anyways.
Well, but see, here's the thing, this is why I will make this argument with anybody who still talks about karma. I mean, look, there's a point in time when the balance, between the good and the bad, or the light and the dark, has been gotten to the point where there is no game anymore. Let's keep it simple. There is no game anymore. No fair game, because you have to be of sound mind and able to make a choice in order to have karma involved. Okay, if you're so poisoned and so mind controlled and so weak that you can't make a choice, then there's no karma. Okay, you're not, and the game is stagnated, and I would argue that this whole thing has been stagnated for quite a while. And we're just basically, time is running down to some end point where there's going to be an end point, and then those who claim what we did, because there's a lot of people in the Illuminati that's absolutely very arrogant, who say, well, our whole job here is to provide a catalyst so that people can understand the difference between light and the dark, which, that argument, okay, I would say fine, but there's rules to that. Okay, you're given the ability to deceive, you can lie, because people need to be able to discern truth from untruth. You can intimidate, you can threaten, you can use certain types of manipulation, but you can't take over a person's mind. Okay, that's a cosmic crime. This is what these Illuminati people don't get. Okay, and this is all the people who are in the New Age, they don't get. Once that crime has been committed, the game is basically on standstill, and there will come a point in time, I don't know when, but there will come a point in time when those who did this are going to be removed, and they will face not karmic justice where they're going to have to make up a few things. This is going to be universal cosmic justice, because they committed a crime that literally is against the prime creator, the source. And basically the rules say that, when you do something that egregious, you go back to the beginning. You start all over. They wipe your mind, they wipe your soul, they send you back down to a rock. That's because every soul starts out at a rock. So you go down to and you can spend 1,000,000 years as a rock again, and bring yourself all the way back up into consciousness. And it's fair. It's fair.
Well, they got to come back. Well, yeah, when you deliberately, with malice and a forethought, with full understanding of doing bad acts and deeds, there will be repercussions, right? Without a doubt.
They can do up to a certain point if the law of the one even it can be reliable. And then this is channeled information, so who knows? But if, and I recommend, go ahead, read the law of the one. Find out what it really says. It all boils down to the most simple tenet, the most simple major focal point is about free will. There's got to be free will. But if you are mind controlling a person using hundreds, and I haven't even gotten to talk about like physical implants and astral implants, etherical implants that the secret space program has developed, which they can actually put in your astral body. Or like, let's talk about entity attachments, astral entity attachments that these Luciferians are able to conjure up. That's what their blood sacrifice is all about. Satan worship. They conjure demons and astral entities, and then they send them and they attach them astrally to a living and make their life hell. Okay. We're getting into the realms of a dark magic where all of a sudden these people are no longer providing a catalyst for human beings to choose to do good, but they have now gone into a pale where, these guys are going back to square one. And they can be as arrogant as they want and think, this is our religion, because it is a religion. Even the Illuminati has a religion that says, we're dark, but we're a catalyst to help people figure out the light. That's what they think. They've been lied to, okay? Because there's certain things you just can't do, and they've been doing those for a long time now. So back to a rock, baby.
Well, isn't it ironic? My name is Peter. The word or the name Peter means rock, immovable. But I'm not dumber than a box of fucking rocks. So let's get that straight.
Yeah.
And I am conscious.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I would love to take a debate to anybody about karma right now and law of the one, but you got to get out of your dogma. You've got to get out of your the channels say this. But I say, you got to look around. You got to see what's been going on. And then you've got to measure it against what's already been said, and you analyze it all. And that's how you come up with, we're not in that ballpark anymore. We're no longer playing in that sandbox. We're in a whole nother sandbox.
Yeah. Well, it's a like I say, it's a lot of energetic shifting going on. The right ones are getting together. New Earth Nation, I saw that last night, the 2-hour call. A lot of my brothers and sisters are on that, but we all still collectively need to come together. I have pieces of this puzzle that I'll be bringing forward. I'll be aligning with some of them folks who are ready, because they're not getting the rest of the equation.
Well, no, I mean, here, look, you are an invaluable measure of a human soul, coming forth in this time, and you're bringing it to the people's attention, and you're bringing the energy. That's what it is. It's energetics. Every esoteric magician will tell you that it's not about the dogma, that every religion on the planet is just about dogma, and it's about dividing people up, which is divide and conquer. And it's about keeping people stupid, and it's about keeping them in one place, okay? But it's about energetics, and it's about frequency, okay? And it's about the manipulation of frequency, but more than that, it's about raising your own frequency and how that gets done, okay? And how that gets done is, of course, like you said, you start with your body, you start with food, and you're putting pure food. You're putting non-GMO, non-chemicalized, non-irradiated, non-microwaved food that's generally very healthy into your body. You raise your body frequency that way. Then you do the meditations, yeah. But that's only like for 10, 15 minutes a day, to get yourself centered and get yourself focused. You bring the calmness so that you can go out and think about what you want to do, like you say, living your life on purpose. What act now of helping other people am I going to do that is going to really make a big dent in the frequency so that I could, start building the spiral? Love, helping others, unity. Love, helping others, unity. And making the spiral go up, because as the energy raises on the planet, it literally brings all of us as a planet up. It raises the frequency, which is another reason why they're using their towers, with VLF waves and trying to like lower the frequency. Here's the funny thing. I've told this to a couple other people. Technologically, we could actually have caused our own ascension already. What we're trying to do organically, love, helping other people, unity, love, help, is build a frequency among all of us. Okay. But you could basically create a harmonic resonator, put it on all of the cell towers all over the planet that propagates a love wave of sorts, solfeggio wave, a certain hertz, and you just resonate that frequency, and you propagate that frequency, and eventually it would start lifting other people up and the planet up. And that's just technology doing it. The Atlanteans did that.
Right.
They knew how to do that using their technology. We could do that. Well, guess what the Illuminati is doing? They're doing the exact opposite.
Right, and they're stealing people's res and energy by compromising it, by messing with the circuit.
Well, what they're doing is they're actually using those towers to do the exact opposite. They're driving the frequency down.
Yeah.
It's not that they couldn't raise the frequency, but they want to keep it low. Okay, so they're using technology to do the exact opposite of what the technology could be used for, to bring the whole planet upward. And that's just, it's once the frequency gets to a high enough point, there will come a shift of consciousness, a grand awakening, a reconnecting of our DNA, which, ostensibly a lot of people are saying has been disconnected, from what it used to be. The universal human DNA used to have 12 strands. Now we got 2 strands right now, so 10 are disconnected.
Yeah.
But that's etherical, astral level DNA, which connects us to source and also connects us to powers that to most people would seem very magical, where we could have telepathy, clairaudience, abilities to bilocate, or, ability to transmute something, or to create something out of thin air. All those like so-called magical abilities, a multi-dimensional human being with fully connected DNA can do. And it's a matter of your frequency, getting it high enough to reconnect.
I've been bilocating for 3 years. Wow.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I actually talked to someone who said that they could do it one time. It was kind of creepy, but I've seen some weird stuff happen. I know this reality, it can be manipulated. Peter, I saw a house actually literally manifest on a vacant lot in the course of one day. One day it wasn't there, and then the very next day there was the house there. And the weird thing, get this, the weird thing is it looked like it had been there for 100 years. It was a vacant lot, and then all of a sudden there's a whole farm with house outbuildings and all kinds of trees and shrubs and plants and junk. And I'm like, if you ever got shivers up your spine, go, where did that come from? So someone's messing with the fabric of reality and the fabric of time, And of course, this gets into some conversations that I've had with other people about CERN and what that whole thing is all about, because that's just a series of magnets. And reality is basically it's electromagnetic. The fabric of space and time is divided by magnetism. Otherwise, all of our bodies would literally just be a bunch of atoms that would blend into the walls and blend into the chair we're sitting on, and we'd be able to walk through everything. It's the magnetic fields that keeps everything looking solid. So,
yeah. Well, I'm gonna open hey, now through the energies, I can open up my own portals. So I'm not, that's what I like. I get to take these little rides, but like I say, always bringing forth the good intent, always bringing the heart forward. Every day I go out of my way to put some heart into what I'm doing, because when I do that, then it brings my vibration up as well. But like I say, giving, getting, and I get it, and it's so darn easy. It's
well, I think you've actually started in exactly the right place, and it's with the court system, because I think that people will only get up off their duff when they finally realize that what they think of as justice, as what they think of as rules and authority, it's all a smoke and mirrors trick. It's a magician's trick. And they can't possibly claim to own a living human being. It's not cosmically aligned with source. Your soul is yours, and they can't harvest the energy of your value either. That's why it's another thing you said a while ago. You said, well, nothing in life is free. Well, the thing is everything in life should be free. If we were living a balanced incarnation cycle on a balanced planet, there is no such thing as money. Money is the Babylonian money magic. It's black magic, because all of that money is created out of thin air. And of course, the people who actually get to create it and use it, they apparently have all the power, which is, of course, another magic trick, because each soul is infinitely valuable, and each soul has infinite worth, and each soul deserves a share of all of the value of the planet, all of the resources of the planet, because you incarnated here. And most of these very advanced civilizations that live out there, they don't have money. They go, well, why would you ever have to pay money to live on a planet you incarnated on? They don't even get that. I think it was what's the guy's name? He actually was representing the Andromedans, and he said that was something that they I guess his name slips my mind right now, but anyway, he said that was something the Andromedans used to tell him that they could never figure out, is why human beings had to pay money to live on a planet they were born on. They go, well, who's running the show down there, and why are you allowing that? Because don't you realize that you're infinitely valuable? Don't you realize that your soul has infinite worth, and that's the value right there? That the paper strips you hand to each other, is all fake, and worthless.
yeah.
So that's where people need to start. But hey, it's a great fantasy. We're living in a dream. Money, paper has value, and everybody has to pay to get everything, and certain people are above others, and we've got presidents and kings and queens that you got to bow to. Oh, don't you know that person's important? Really?
Hey, nobody. Yeah. See. Yeah. The people who sell their soul for fortune and fame, they don't have. Yeah. I don't want to be. I can't be bought, and it's really that simple. I can't be bought. No amount of ferns, Federal Reserve notes on the planet, can you buy me off. They can come in my door. They can say, look at we want you to go away, and we're going to set you up on an island, and you know what? Then you're going to fracture my soul, and if I sold my soul to go off into the private and shut up and not be who I'm supposed to be, then I just lost myself. And I guess
Absolutely.
what? And I'm here for the duration, and I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing until I'm done. I'll know when I'm done.
Absolutely. And you know what? Just the fact that you and I are having a discourse today, having a discussion like this, I feel infinitely honored to have been able to come together with the infinitely valuable soul
Yeah,
named,
well, yeah,
named Peter.
and it goes both ways, and that's the whole point. I'm not above you. We're in this together. We're both bringing our energy to this planet, and this is why I love all the guests I get to come on. I got Brother Justin DeCamps coming on Friday from Stillness in the Storm. I have not got to integrate with him. I want to integrate with all my brothers who are getting the memos, and even the ones that aren't. You know what I'm saying? Because we're all in this together, and maybe they'll get it in a minute. But all my star sisters. Brother, I do shows on the love. I do actual shows on the love. I mean, with Sister Golden Goddess Crystal, and I get the love. So it was so important for me to. I found Crystal last summer, and I said, this voice has to come out. She has this beautiful voice. Her speaking voice, her voice when she does her videos, she produces all her own stuff. I said, that's a voice that needs to be heard across the planet because it's vibrating so nice. It's in pure intent, pure love. And I said, I got to stay on this love vibration because without it, that's an integral piece of the puzzle. There's no harmony. There's no peace.
Well, yeah, but that's the first step of the engine. You can't help anybody unless you have love. Okay. And if you're not loving, you're fearing, because that's the only other. I mean, like everybody said, well, I'm anxious, or, I'm like feeling depressed. But I mean, ultimately, it's all fear. It's all fear of something. It's regardless of what it is. And they've done a job. They've done a number on us with contract and consent. And here's the other thing: the contract and consent didn't start here. This came from off planet. This was given. This was handed to us. And the reason we have contracts, which in my opinion, and I wrote about this, contracts are magic spells. Okay, on a supernatural level, they're magic because you're trying to bind another person's free will. Free will.
Let me share one. Let me interject just for a minute. Well, look what happens at birth. They tap into the soul of the child's left heel. Now it's become soulless. They grab some blood, put it on what's called a Guthrie card, a DNA Guthrie card. And then they do a foundling document 6 days later. Nobody came and lost and found anybody. I mean, Curtis and I have had some beautiful conversations on this, on the founding. We found the founding documents. They do it in every state, and now it's considered abandoned property. But they, because when you put that blood on that piece of paper, when you blow on it, the words. So brother, you're right. They're soul collection contracts. They're harvesting the masses, the asses of the masses, and they've been doing it for a long time.
And it's all about consent. Okay. So the thing is, of course, they don't tell us, but here again, energetically speaking, they're creating a whole whirlwind for themselves because they have to tell people. If this was a level playing field, they somehow they have to tell people what they're doing. They're not. They're making it's so difficult to find out that it's not even level. And in another sense, they have to give people a way out. Okay, because in order for free will to actually be, there has to be an out. You have to be able to opt out of everything. If you can't opt out, free will is gone. Okay, this is the line that they've crossed that makes the game moot. Okay, you've got to have free will, and you can't hide the out. Okay, such that no one can ever find it. Okay, and you can't have something that there is no out, even if there is one.
Yeah, it's like Jonah says. How can the baby make a contract? It's the baby's signature is nowhere to be found on that birth certificate, and they didn't tell mommy she's giving over as the informant, and they didn't tell daddy he was supposed to make a claim. I mean, no, there was the fraud vitiates all contracts. That's just anyways. I know that for a fact.
No, you're absolutely right, Peter. You're absolutely right, and this is the level that sadly, we've got so many intelligent people in the so-called new age, and they have not yet got to this point. They haven't actually used their own mind, and there's a good reason. Even though they're smart, they're listening to channels. They're listening to entities on the other side of an astral level who's instructing them how to be, how to live. They're giving away their power in another religious sense to a spirit being who is going to save me, and they're refusing to actually take their own power, make their own decisions, and think their own thoughts. Because again, your mind is part of your mind body spirit complex. You have to have your own mind. You have to think your own thoughts and make your own judgments, and because that's how you learn. Okay, you don't learn by just listening to what someone else tells you what to do all the time. If you're doing that, then you're willingly just being a slave or a servant of another master. We don't need more masters. We don't need more gurus. Okay, we don't need more teachers. What we need is more people going within themselves and finding out who that is and taking their own advice.
Right. If it resonates with you, and I tell everybody, and I've been saying this for years, don't listen to a damn thing I say. Go take a look at it. If it doesn't resonate with you, then don't apply it. Go do something else. But hey, when I post stuff in real time, I post the facts to sustain where I'm coming from, so they didn't think I made it up off the top of my head. But they've got to be willing to at least go open it up and not show contempt prior to investigation to see how it fits or doesn't fit. You can't. How can you deny or go along with if you don't get the answers that resonate with you? And that's the whole point of the exercise of why I created what I created with the 8-week construct. I said you got to go start at the beginning, and some people will go to the first week of the curriculum and just go right back to sleep because it's just too overwhelming to believe that they gave over consent and about the birth certificate. I make them go watch Changes on the Horizon Part 2. I've created a construct so they can just take it in digestible chunks, I call it, because I know this is going to overwhelm them. Brother, I went through all the portals. Believe me, I was in mental meltdown, psychogenic shock. I couldn't believe the shit I was finding because I was the one uncovering it. Then I went into the bond crap. This guy, Gene Keating, came on the scene back in 2005. And then he wrote up this thing. And then I actually went and looked up everything he said, and he wasn't lying. So, see, that's the point. I had to go confirm or deny, and I'm willing to research it, and I've already done it. So I try and tell people, I says, you don't have to bump your head. You don't have to make all the mistakes I've made. I've done them for you. I've done 30 years of bumping my head. I'm no longer bumping my head. I got the memos, but I had to go through all those portals and bump my head. But I had to take an action to go find out the truth, and then know that it fit as a truth.
Well, here again, it's all about what you're willing to spend your time on, and people, unfortunately, are looking for an easy path to their own enlightenment. They're looking for a not an arduous path, but I don't know how to say this, effortless path. I'm not gonna have to work real hard at it. Just give me the cliff notes and I'll really quickly ascend. And there is no way. I mean, there's no way to quickly learn what it takes 30 years to learn. Okay? You got to go through every step on your own. And you have to, but it can be done. And you start by loving. You start by loving, helping other people, and coming together in unity, loving, help. And then you have to choose what you're going to spend your time on. Okay? And if you're spending your time, watching TV for 4 or 5 hours a day, if you're spending your time, I don't know what people do. I mean, maybe they just love to go on vacations. Nature is fine, but if you have a problem with not knowing what's really going on, you need to read and you need to be studying. Okay, and you need to be finding this stuff out because reality is based upon what we believe in. And the Illuminati and the magicians know this. That's why they spend billions, trillions of dollars every year all around the world putting on news shows, news and entertainment shows, lying to us, because when we watch these television broadcasts, we assist them in creating a reality that's fake, that we can believe in. Okay, so the way we get out of that is we have to actually start learning, reading articles, and of course here now check this out. these guys must have some kind of future seeing technology. I mean, I've heard about quantum access technology, future seeing technology, because they're seeing this coming. And then, wow, people are starting to wake up. So now we've got the CIA, which passed a law, I think last year or just the year before, but I think it was last year, that the CIA, they used to be able to actually publish unlimited propaganda and lies, which is propaganda, but lies all over the world. But they couldn't do it inside the continental United States. You know, they were forbidden. It was illegal for the CIA to lie. Well, executive order number such and such. Now the CIA can lie as much as they want without fear of prosecution inside the United States. Well, you know, have we seen disinformation, and have we seen, you know, the propaganda increase about 100-fold in the last year or two? I mean, you don't know. People are trying to do research. They don't know if they're going or coming. And then what's the purpose? Purpose of that is they don't want you to know if you're going or coming. They want you to be confused. They want you to maintain status quo. Continue to go to church. Continue to support the government. Pay your taxes. Support the slavery system. There's nothing to see here. Move along. You know, move along. And that's pretty insidious.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to move the train faster. But you know, I got to get some other folks on. You know, self-sufficiency is going to be key. You know, for all those who don't want to grow their own dense nutrition and they want to, you know, you got to start somewhere, folks. It doesn't take much energy to grow a non-GMO garden. And you don't even need any backyard. They got stackables now. They have new technologies coming forward. I'll get your brother.
Yeah,
one of my brothers.
I know a guy who lives over in Sedona. He designed a computer that literally was made out of flash drives, and the guy can actually build technology, and he built like a motherboard, not a motherboard, but it was like a server that all of the flash drives in it actually were part of the processing power. And it was just a hydroponic thing. And he said this thing could connect to an iPad or an iPhone. It would literally have many levels and different racks for growing vegetables, and you could, like, it would water on its own. You know, the light would come on, but you could also, you know, be across the world, and you could, like, have a little camera there. You could look and see the plants. You could water them some more from your iPhone, your iPad. You know, you could turn on the lights, you know, and have your own hydroponic garden in your basement. And he had like a thing. It was like his own designed server unit running it.
Wow.
Yeah, it was excellent, you know. So wow, I'm thinking that people are starting to come together. But here again, the guy's broke, and he needs money. We all need money to start up.
Yeah, well, people are gonna have to start showing the value in others when they receive it. You know, I give and give and give till it hurts, and you know, if it doesn't come back, you know, that's a lot of empty vessels out there who are not bringing forward the energy, and I put forth mine. You know, I didn't do it with the expectation of a monetary gain, but everybody's got skills, and see, this is what I'm being able to tap into the skills of the planet, these other skill sets. I have hemp growers over here in Denver that have an underground hemp grow. They do dense nutrition. I have, they got the raw milk and all that stuff, you know, the crap of self-sufficiency. And I got other people who grow you know, the cannabis and stuff like that that's not compromised. And anyways, you know, like I say, I'm aligning with the hearts. It's time. Yeah, it's not about the cost. You're going to pay a hell of a lot more to do absolutely nothing. But people got to support through love. You know, just like this lady who was a child with 300 seizures. She thought she was doing the easier, softer way. She compromised her own child. She already had a resource, a source. Sister Laura was the source. And she decided to change the game in midstream. Now she's paying. Now it's an emergency situation. We got to go to Denver, go fix the shit because the child is literally off the chain with seizures because of the poisons that she went out and bought that were compromised when she knew she already had a source that could keep it fixed. So
yeah, body chemistry is becoming more and more key here, and of course that they know that. That's why they're desperate to vaccinate children.
yes.
when the moment they're born. I mean, by the time they're 6 months old, they've got like a gallon. I mean, literally a gallon of vaccinations in them already.
Yep.
You know, 20 different vaccinations, 30 different vaccinations. You know, and of course that it has all kinds of stuff like mercury and
Well,
nanobots.
brother, I've been sharing this for 2 years. Yeah, I tell people go to the website www.novaccine.com, and on the right-hand side it posts and it tells you the adverse reactions, all the poisons. I don't care if it's MMR, the tetanus, whatever. It shows all the poisons in every damn shot: the thimerosal, mercury, formaldehyde, and probably some other constructs they're not mentioning. But I've given them the irrevocable proof, but they're afraid to go look. I gave them a website, and these were ex-medical folks that put this site together because they couldn't keep doing the poisonings. They woke up.
But ultimately, look, you know what? I came up with this this little saying is you can't live inside someone else's body. You can only live inside your body. And ultimately, it's interesting when I say that because people go, "What do you mean live inside your body?" Because I go, "You are not your body. You are living inside of it. That you're an infinite, immortal, free spirit of love. Okay, you have a body. You live inside of it. You know, unfortunately, there are people that claim to own it, which is absolutely ridiculous. You know, but you know, just because you're a higher, more advanced energy. I mean, and all of this ultimately came from off world anyway. This hijack that where we've got like the Babylonian money magic system in slavery. You know, these are fourth dimensional and fifth dimensional beings that are doing this. So the idea that, well, when I get to be fourth dimensional, I'm going to be something. You're not. You know, fourth dimensional, that doesn't mean you're more enlightened, and neither does fifth dimensional. Maybe if you get to be sixth dimensional, or not dimensions anyway, because actually dimensions are different than density. Density has to do with frequency. So it's actually third density, fourth density, fifth density, sixth density, sixth density. Higher density is a higher frequency. A dimension is just, you know, you can have many dimensions in one density. You know, it's like parallel realities, parallel universes, parallel realms. You know,
Brother, I'm a wordsmith. I look at the words. Look at the word dimension. Does that mean people have dementia? I mean, are they demented? I mean, have they lost their mind? See, I lost my mind a long time ago. So, you know what? Yeah, I do go through a lot of different portals, but I'm not demented. I'm just awake. You know, and it's part of the consciousness. Once the spirit comes in, you're conscious. But a lot of spirits, there's a lot of compromised spirits on this planet right now.
well, yeah, and that was by design. Look, maybe for another conversation, there's a rabbit hole that I could go down, and theoretical rabbit hole that I literally, like I said, it goes down to the center of the planet. I mean, it's deep, and it gets into not just karma, but the idea that those who think they own this planet may actually have technology where they transfer their karma onto the rest of us. Okay, we may simply be living lives here, actually, what's the word I'm looking for? Living our lives trying to work out other people's karma that's been dumped on us. Okay, through a alchemical and esoteric technological way. You know, the theory and the truth of it may be, and I'll just say may be that none of us have any karma left and haven't had for thousands of years. And all we're doing, you know, we've got really evil so-called psychopathic leaders and their henchmen and their minions who are doing deals with off-planet entities and other realms and worlds that are dumping all of their karma on this planet, and the rest of us who are slaves, you know, are basically enduring and working out their karma so that they can continue to be as evil as they want to and never have to face a universal justice system. Okay, and believe me, once you get down the rabbit hole of energetics and esoterics, there are ways to do that.
Very interesting. We'll have to share on that level. We won't do it here because that's a whole nother.
Yeah, that's a deep rabbit hole right
there. I
love
all the rabbit, brother. I'm Peter fucking Rabbit. I like all the rabbit holes. And I ain't afraid to go down any damn one of them.
Yeah. So I mean, there's things that they're going on that would scare the crap out of people. I mean, on the astral level, like people don't realize that there's a lot of dark crap on the astral level. Like there's astral not just technology to like work with your mind, but there's actual entities like little leeches and astral, I call astral suckers. They'll actually attach themselves on an astral level to your arm or your leg, and they'll suck energy from you like a leech, and you won't even know it's there. You'll just be tired all the time. You've got like an astral sucky thing going sucking on your energy. And people who get those have holes in their aura. They have holes in their energy, which are created by electromagnetic frequency problems, maybe drinking too much alcohol if they're lush, maybe doing way too many drugs, if they're constantly in anger. You create holes in your aura, you create holes in your energy, and these astral entities latch on, they suck on you, and you got to get rid of those. There's a lot of crap that would scare people, and I'm not trying to say be scared. I'm just saying you got to learn about this stuff.
Right.
There's stuff out there that you need to know about. So
yeah, it's there's a lot of stuff out there, but everybody needs to start at the beginning. That's why I was storing up all this information as I was learning over the years, and I put it in these portals, and then I met up with Brother Michael, my webmaster at Privatis.Me. He's the one who actually created the construct of Privatis.Me. I said, I got the information, I just don't know quite where to put it just yet, so let's just open up some boxes, and I'll know where to go. And it was just good intent coming forward, both of us, and it was just it's amazing. And now it's I'm hoping I would love the rest of the planet to go take a ride over at Privatis.me so they can start from the beginning. Because if they'll start from the beginning, if they'll take some steps, if they'll take an action, they got the chance of going back home again.
Well, send me a link to that, and I'll put it on my blog.
Beautiful.
Okay. Yeah, I will. I'll put it on my blog, and then I'll say, please, do this. Go here. This is really great. So, and that way you'll get some traffic. Right.
I mean, it's like I say, I created it for free on the front end for everybody. It's there's no exchange. It's just it's a starting point, because until you go through the starting point and pull back the curtain, none of the other stuff I talk about, like unconsenting, off the voter rolls and stuff like that, and quit giving over your consent. That's week 2, and week 3 is on what goes on in court, the bonds, and anyways, they got to start somewhere. But anyway, I sort of lost my train of thought. My brain.
Well, no, you're going down the right train of thought. Actually, I'm going to add something to what you were saying, and this is something that we were covering this morning when we talked about, every contract not only is a magic spell, but there is a supernatural level to contracts. People don't get that when they sign their name, you're actually entering into a contract on multiple levels, not just a physical level. These beings who are magicians, these Satan worshipers, these Luciferians who actually know how to conjure dark magic and direct elementals and dark elementals, and these energy beings on the astral level, what they do is they say any being who signs a contract, they're on the hook for that. And if they don't follow the contract, there is a supernatural side. There's an entity that's looking, hey, he's not following the contract, and bad luck or accidents seem to befall you, and you go, well, why did that happen? Well, there's a supernatural being standing there watching you. You're not following your contract. You put your name on a line and you sign a contract and give consent. You're doing things you don't even have a clue about. You need to really think about what you're doing. Now, there's a guy, and I also told you, there's this guy who does holographic disclosure. And on his website, and I can put a link up to that, he has a short deal on sigils, which is basically the alphabet and the geometric shapes and stuff like that.
Yes.
But he dug down the rabbit hole too of the Illuminati, and he found, no, I am not kidding you, he found that on some of their contracts that they have printers now that can go down to like microscopic levels, and in the period behind a sentence on the contract, he took a microscope and he looked in the pyramid, and there was the Great Seal and the all-seeing eye above the pyramid in the period.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm going, oh my God, wow.
Yeah.
So the fine print is really fine.
Well, and see, I want to send you our package, our documents. I want you to see where we live, because we don't put you on the left-hand side of the page. That's the dead man's side. We want you right in the middle, because you always have free will. We seal the deal at the end. I'm as good as gold. I'm like one of the 7 elements. If you look at the Freemasons, you have the 7 elements. I'm gold. Anyways, I took back my res, my energy. This is the point of teaching people how to unconsent, because it is a spiritual walk. And if you don't, you've got to go into your mind, and you actually have to internalize this and do an act. And I did this, about a year and a half ago, and I unconsented using the postal service. But listen to this, brother. It didn't cost me a penny. I sent everything registered mail internationally, and it cost me 0. I did it 30 times in a row to teach the planet that I know who the fuck I am, and I know how to terminate stuff and be in my man side, or be in my energy, my spirit side. And they had no business with me. And that's how I unconsented from all the contracts. When I dealt with the folks wearing the masks, I addressed them as in their man or woman status. I didn't let them hide behind their petticoat, i.e. their title, because that's what everybody is right now, is a title. And you got to bring your title back home. That's what we're talking about now.
Oh, absolutely. And I know this is going to sound strange, and I know it's going to sound a little bit woo-woo, but even astral entities, they can't touch you unless they know what your name is. The name is everything.
Yeah.
Okay. They want a legal name, you know.
Right.
And you know, the thing is like, you can mess with them. You can get up in the morning and say, I think my name today is going to be, you know, like Flower Child. You know, and for that day, if you literally mean it, today I am this, that's my name. Those astral entities can't touch you, because they're sent to deal with a particular name. You know, that's their hold on you. They don't touch the energetic entity. They can't.
Yep.
Because they're just astral beings. You know.
Yeah. I'm not the name. My friends call me Peter. I guess I'll stick with that. It's easy. It's for continuity of flow in my mind. But I've terminated. Yeah, I want to send you some information. How would you like the divine proportion claim that Brother Curtis and I got to put forward on the planet?
You know what? All I saw in my email literally was just was one document. That's all I got.
Yeah, it's a PDF. You just open it up and it's 3 pages. It shows how
I got one page. Unless there's more than one. I'll look at it again.
There has to be 3, because that's the way I sent it. Otherwise, you'd have none of the attachment.
Okay, good. Well, then I'll look at page 2 and 3.
Yeah, it has a cover page. It's got the cover page showing where I went through the door in Washington State, and the other 2 pages are the actual document itself. It shows me sealing the deal. Yes, and I put a period after my thumbprint, because I'm the final say on this contract. Mm-hmm. So when I terminated my capacities, being stuck in their game, coming back from the civilly dead, they know, and it's on the record, for the record, on the planet. So I guess maybe I got a little spiritual backing on the planet. People paying attention, that is the dark side.
Well, you know what we're dealing with, though, Peter. Honestly, this is a scary step for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And they really don't think in terms of energetics like you and I are. Right. And they don't think, well, what good is it going to do? It's just like an act, and you know, it might cause the rock the boat in my life, and unless there is a benefit. But see, like, you know, and I've written a couple of articles and I've talked about this, and I said, look, there is a whole nother level, an energetic level, that is actually just as valid as our 3rd dimensional, what we can see level, and it's operating, it's out there, and it's working on your life, and you don't even know it. So I brought up the example of the original Star Trek series, where every once in a while, if you ever saw it, Spock would start playing chess, and he'd play on 3 levels. That the chessboard was 3 different levels. And I say, look, most people play chess, you know, on 1 level. And then Spock, you know, he had this chessboard, and it was 3. and a couple people wanted to sit down and say, we'll challenge him to a game. And he said, there was one episode, he said, well, it's very difficult for human beings to play chess on 3 levels because they don't think 3-dimensionally. They only think 2-dimensionally, you know, or on 1 level.
Right.
They don't think on 3 levels. And that's what you're doing when you're working with this energetic stuff, like you just said about, you know, sending it to yourself 30 times and letting the planet, teaching the planet that you are what you say you are, because you're instructing elemental beings, discarnate beings, that you are taking your power on an energetic level. Okay, and this is what magicians do, that they work with power on that level. And yeah, this is stuff that of course we haven't ever been taught, and we're actually told, oh, that doesn't mean anything, it's myth, you know, that's just hokey pokey, don't pay any attention to that. And the reason we're told that is because that's how they enslave us, that's their power.
Right.
You know?
Like the judges, the lawyers, the courts. Yeah, and somebody was talking last night on the Earth Nation thing. She went to court and they tricked her and lied to her on every level. It was just a matter of what level they were going to screw me at. She said she got the memo, because if you're in their realm, you're not getting the love. You're because you're dealing with a fiction corporate.
Right. It's completely smoke and mirrors. But the thing is unless you have something on an energetic level that says, look, I am not playing in your sandbox, you know, then they feel that, well, we're only on the gross physical level and we already got you on the energetic level. We're just carrying out what's on the energetic level. We're just, you know, playing this out as role players.
Right.
You know? That's why on my blog, I have a page that's called Declaration of Non-Consent and Contract. You know, right. It's 70 sections. If you're going to read it, it takes like an hour and a half. You know, I wrote it. It took me a month to write it. And it's all about the energetic 3 levels of the chessboard level and saying, look, you know, I do not consent to this. I null and void all contracts be due to gross violation and gross breach. No contract is valid if it's breached. You know? Right. And a lot of the Illuminati bases all of their stuff on the law of the one and how they're supposed to be a dark catalyst, but you can't take away free will. Once free will is removed through mind control and chemtrails and frequency, the contract is breached. And then you don't have to follow, the contract's gone, it's gone. And all you have to do is say it's gone. Declare it null and void.
Brother, but I went into their international circuit as the private man, the landed estate, and I dealt with them on their level to unconsent, from the voter, the marriage. Yeah, it takes 2 to say yes and 1 to say no. Anyways, nobody gets that memo. Anyways, the point in being is I took an action so I could internalize it in their 2D construct, so I left no ambiguity, and then I used their international train station by sending everything registered internationally using a pin card where everybody said you couldn't do it. I had to do it. I did it 30 times with 30 issues with other people to show them that it really is real. See, I had to get past the chasm in their mind.
You know what? That's a really loving act too, because there's an old saying: is if you want to feed somebody, you can give them a loaf of bread and a fish, but if you teach the guy to fish, right, then he will be fed for the rest of his life. Yeah. Okay. So teach the person to fish, teach a person to take care of themselves, to feed themselves, to get them to get out of this little rabbit hole that we're all apparently in, you know, and the Illuminati and the cabal are you know, they're wringing their hands with greed and all this stuff and saying, oh, this is so great, we own everybody on the planet. How ridiculous is that? How childish. You know, you can't own a soul, you can't really own another person's body. They claim they can. Yeah. You know, there's a rule that actually says you can only own what you create. That's a cosmic law.
Anyways, hey, brother, we're out of time. I was trying to segue and try and stop the point, but I think this show has already been packaged. Biggie, we already done, right? We're off.